Not surprisingly, Donald Trump's astonishingly stupid idea to charge a 20% mafia-style protection fee on cargo shipped through the Strait of Hormuz did not last 24 hours in his own mad mind. Donald Trump, who thought up that particular piece of insanity all by himself, dropped it as soon as someone in the White House explained to him just how much that would help the price of oil skyrocket again, maybe crash the stock market, not to mention how completely unenforceable it would be and how illegal it would be. And so the stupidest thing Donald Trump has said about the Strait of Hormuz, and he has said a lot of stupid things, has now become another taco item. The phrase Trump taco was coined on Wall Street to mean Trump always chickens out, and it has applied to all of his most insane ideas about tariffs and other economic issues that would normally send the stock market into convulsions. But because everyone on Wall Street is so sure Donald Trump will chicken out on his most insane proposals, they just wait the 24 hours for Donald Trump to reverse himself and reliably chicken out. Donald Trump was obviously not paying attention when his Secretary of State said this 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us.
He forgot to convince Donald Trump. Here's what Donald Trump said yesterday about charging protection money to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
We're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. We never made. We guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it, a lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people. We're really saving people.
What could it be like to work at one of those places where you have to listen to that Trump madness, that Trump stupidity, and pretend that it's not insane? Yesterday, Donald Trump posted this on social media. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, but as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped. And of course, as expected by everyone on Wall Street, who had no reaction to Donald Trump's imagined 20% extortion fee in the Strait of Hormuz, the taco happened on schedule 24 hours later, and the 20% fee disappeared into Donald Trump's wastebasket of insane and illegal ideas. Joining our coverage now is Democratic Congressman Chris Deluzio of Pennsylvania. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee and a Navy veteran. Congressman Deluzio, you've been on Navy ships in the Strait of Hormuz. What is it like for you when you hear something as crazy as this, as illegal as this, as directly contrary to what Marco Rubio has just said? Someone who's actually in service to this country patrolled the Strait of Hormuz. You have to listen to a president say something as demented as this. What is it like for you when you hear that?
Yeah. Lawrence, I got to tell you, every other American president this millennium, not named Donald Trump, was able to keep the Strait of Hormuz open without having to send Americans to go risk their lives. And that's what Donald Trump is now contemplating, right? He's suggesting that American sailors and maybe Marines and others will have to go risk their lives to get the Strait of Hormuz open so that Middle Eastern tyrants can sell their oil to Asia and elsewhere. I don't think the American people want that. They want us doing less in the Middle East, not war. They want to see Americans back home, not risking their lives and fighting and bleeding and dying for oil in the Middle East. And yet this president continues to bungle his way through this war. And it's exactly why the Congress should constrain him and put a stop to this and bring our troops home.
Take us inside the cabins of those Navy vessels on patrol in the region who hear yesterday Donald Trump say their next job is going to be controlling the Strait of Hormuz and charging this 20% fee, never mind that it would be impossible to even calculate how you would get the 20% number. Yeah. But so you're on one of those Navy ships and you hear that. This is from the commander-in-chief. This is what your mission's going to be starting tomorrow or starting any minute now. And then 24 hours later, you see Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief, completely retract what he said 24 hours before. What must that be like inside those Navy ships?
Well, I'm sure a little bit of whiplash. And look, our American service members are going to do what's asked of them. The point, though, Lawrence, I think you get this, you don't squander the patriotism of our troops. You don't ask them to risk their lives needlessly. It's a dangerous mission between drone attack risk, small arms fire, and so much else. That's a really dangerous mission. And again, at what cost and for what? American presidents have managed to keep the Strait open for my adult life without having to send Americans to patrol it, to escort tankers through and more. Yet that's exactly what this president is forcing our service members to do to clean up for a disastrous war that he never should have started in the first place. This is terrible business. It's messy, it's dangerous, it's bloody, it's deadly, and we're paying for it right here at home. You see the gas prices and oil prices spiking once again because of Donald Trump's failures.
So, I mean, the idea that in war, your enemy chooses a tactic that is both illegal and harmful to the world, and your choice in that war is then to try to do the same thing. I mean, this is the equivalent of the United States in World War II saying, if Hitler doesn't stop bombing London, we will start bombing London.
Yeah, I mean, it highlights it right there. And the fact that you had the clip with Secretary Rubio saying the exact opposite of what Donald Trump is now saying, that, of course, international waterways are to be opened. And look, it used to mean something that when American might and power loomed, the mere suggestion of our presence would be something enough to guarantee security, to keep something like the Strait of Hormuz opened. And yet, in bungling this war, and let me be clear, Donald Trump's bungling of this war, not our troops, the Iranians have seen an inability from this president to keep the Strait open. It's something we are all paying for. I just don't think the solution is to make Americans risk their lives, make Americans pay for this. It's not what the American people want us to do. They want us pulling back from the Middle East and pulling away from wars for oil.
Congressman Chris Deluzio, thank you very much for joining our coverage tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.